morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let's Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to see you, Braid. Good to see you, Kevin. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. And congratulations, Kevin. You have won the crown of Firstdom, the crown of lights. We are to be the children of light today. Hey, Craig, 7 stream streak, very nice. Oh, I hope you're enjoying. Stina, thanks for the follow. Roxy, I hope you enjoyed that vacation. I hope you have a good time. But yeah, we're gonna be checking out Sky Children of the Light. This is made by the same guy who did Journey. And in its description, it has a line that's something to the effect of like encourages kindness. I like to see that in gaming. I think that's a good thing. So yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's dive on into it. Another word for Sky is Sora. Marriage is fitting to Kingdom Hearts. Everything is Kingdom Hearts. See, everyone is either a Sora or a Xehanort. Sound is half the experience. Knowing is the other half of the battle. Oh, why is the y-axis not inverted? He's saying you're a Sora. Should you be offended? I think you should be concerned. Oh, thank you very much, Stina. What game were we playing that had Sky Whales recently? Well, that seems like a very literal take on the fall. Fear not, child. You will defeat the darkness. Yeah, but that doesn't explain why I fell in the first place, but I guess we'll figure that out. Oh no, they gave me a make noise button. 25 stream streak, my goodness. Congrats, Roxy. A mighty flame burns within you. Help, you're intimidated by how long the encyclical is. I mean, it's not that long. Hours vanished long ago. It's only like 50 pages if you printed it out from the website. Is this game inspired by the encyclical? That'd be impressive if it were, considering that this game was first released in 2019. Yeah, but how many... You've read books longer than that. Time travel is real! Yeah, this is how we find out. Oh, we're holding hands. Oh, they're guiding me. It's so cute. Well, clearly you should just pivot all the conversations to the encyclical and make that your main focus. So, I mean, the Pope quotes Gandalf in it, so... Oh no. Our friend is sad. And we don't know where we are. A hidden refuge lost to time. It's like Gandalf said, be Catholic. So I remember that line. I think it was in the Silmarillion. Hello, tall friend! Can Gandalf be Catholic? Angels are considered... I'm gonna go with yes. Uncover our darkened kingdom. Hey, thank you for the lurk, Bacon. Yes, in a Middle-earth kind of way. Well, I mean, Gandalf is an angel. And plus, Middle-earth is technically our world just a really long time ago. Angels do not need salvation, but that doesn't mean that they cannot participate in God's love. And live in his presence in the heavenly kingdom. And we call upon them. We call upon 3 of them by name in the communion of saints. It's a barber chair. You shall not pass. No, it's the line. I forget exactly what it is. It's like ours is not an age. Are angels considered part of Church Triumphant? I think they would be, again, considering that we quote, that we seek their intercession in the Litany of the Saints at critical moments. They are not part of the body of Christ because they cannot be baptized, but Others like you await, child. This journey is yours to share. What if I don't want to share it? Spoiler alert, I do want to share it. That's why I'm streaming it. Lighting the candles, lighting the candles. I'm officially a sacristan because I'm lighting the candles. Those are cool bells. Aviary Village. That's fitting. Got to burn away darkness to forge more candles from the shop. Hey. Interesting. I don't know enough Kenya to know how to pronounce those, but yeah. Don't mind me, just run around in the middle of a cutscene. The stars were once united, and our light was infinite. The first of us descended to build a kingdom in the clouds. But we took our light for granted. And in shadow, we withered away. It's hubris. It always comes back to hubris. A long time has passed. Now you bring us hope. Go forth, child. Return your light to our fallen stars. I'm going on an adventure. Steps here with 100 bits demanding the leaderboard. Yeah, that reset recently. I don't know why. You are the leaderboard. Be brave, child. The realm beyond this gate is but the first. Looks my leaderboard is set to weekly. I haven't changed any settings. Find and free the spirits trapped in this place. You changed my settings? Oh, well, thank you, Peter. Why does this developer always give you a make a noise button? Burb. Rotita. Hey, happy feast day of St. Philip Neri. One of my personal favorite saints. It's another person. Oh, what they're honking about. Anyway, St. Philip Neri, patron saint of comedians. I love him. He really used humor as a great way to diffuse some tensions and difficulties. But he also just had a great love of the poor. He cared for a lot of orphaned children in Rome. That was graceless. But yeah, Philip Neri, big fan. Can't really see it, but I have an icon on my wall over there. Bells! Is that an actual player NPC? I think those are actual players. I'm not sure, though. Okay, so there's 2 spirits here that we need to... I think this is an NPC. But I think the other one that was honking at the mural was real. It's most of a boat. Oh, spirit gates like this. Like this one, once connected to the sky. Beyond the gate is a temple where elders once shepherded spirits back to the stars. But the elders fell long ago. So because they had no one to shepherd them? Free the spirit to power the spirit gate and reach the temple. Yet another game where we're a psychopomp. Follow the pointing candle maker. Aw, they're learning how to make candles. Learning of the elders in the stars. And boat! Be free, friend! I don't know what those abilities mean, but... there are 37 other spirits to free. Okay, well... not gonna lie, the jumping here is a little Interesting. Yeah. Make my way downtown. Do 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 do. You may chat with another player who sits until the candle burns out. Okay, that's an interesting mechanic. Limited time conversation. I wonder if that's a voice chat thing or if there's emotes or text or what. I know I should go through the large door, but there was a little door over here to the side. Rejecting Voyager? Oh no, they look all sad. Why are they being rejected everywhere? It's interesting that you have to learn the emotes. That's an interesting thing to do in a social multiplayer game. Oh, it's a map. Sort of. Kind of. Ugh. Mm. I am sleepy today, apparently. Yeah, it looks like your temple in the sky is broken. Might want to call in a mason to get that fixed. Because that looks like a lot of stonework, so... Why is the Elder so creepy? Oh, there's the rest of his face. Hey, those are shapes. That was the shape on the gate. I don't know how many candles I have. I think I have one candle. And this was the pointing dude. Oh. It lets me unlock his hairstyle. I'll be honest, I don't entirely understand what's happening in this game, but it's beautiful, so... See, I think that's a real person. Like, look at these columns, these cloud columns. Are we gonna fall again? Oh no, that's the intro screen. Nice. Gonna try and grab a screenshot. Ah! Why would you tell me to toggle my flight mode? There's no land under me. It's a lot of heat shimmer. Implies it's very warm up here in the clouds. Across the 7 realms, other elders wait to be awakened. We must run 7 times round the 7 hills of Rome. Restore them all, child, and fulfill your destiny. Oh, this is the cosmetics room. I don't have anything other than hair unlocked. Yeah, this studio always just makes really pretty games. I think the first one I encountered was Flower. Where, ironically, you don't play as a flower, you play as a gust of wind that collects flower petals. And honestly, it kind of happens in a valley that looks like this. This looks like a barrier, but I want to find out. Oh yeah, that's another constellation barrier. Oh, I don't have nearly enough spirits to help me through there. Oh, I see a spirit on top of the rock there. Yeah, and I'm getting stuck. Look out for that wall. What wall? Thump. Oh, hello. No. Butterfly charmer. Yeah, this is the same studio. That one's called Journey. But yeah, it is the same studio. Oh, look at the little spirit follow me. Okay, so there's like a end goal spirit over there. Let's go to this middle island. Sir, you are quite bright. Are you a lighthouse? We played that game last week. Where'd you go? There you go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Does that have bell have mushrooms on it? No, that's not where I want to be. There's still more to do up there. Yeah, to free this guy. I wonder if these gray shades are players in another instance. I don't think you should be on that when it's rotating like that. Hey, ML. Clearly, these people do not have OSHA. I have connected things on the sigil. I choose to believe this is a good and important thing. Ooh, the auto-pathing does not like that. There we go. Galaxy Blake, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. Get startled by my own follow alert still. It's a moth to a flame. I'm enjoying it. It's a nice first look. I've played Journey before, So definitely getting some of those vibes for sure. I do like that arson is an answer to some of our problems. Land on the creatures of light. Yeah, you have greater faith in my abilities than I do. Spirit! Laughing Light Catcher. I think we just call that solar power, but I could be wrong. No. It's a little obnoxious that each contextual action is tied to the same button. So, like, I tried talking to the spirit there when I wanted to free the other spirit, but that's a small complaint. I can chortle and guffaw! Oh, actually, I didn't quite want to go there yet. Just one other place over here I want to go. No. Sorry. Sorry, Sky Whale Moth. Okay, wait for my other fly ability to recharge, and then we go into the rock face over there. Or not. Like, why isn't it recharging? Oh, there we go. No, but I want up there. Kid has redeemed a father joke. So the other day, I swallowed a spoon. A whole spoon, if you can believe it. And I, of course, was worried. And so I went to the doctor. And, you know, I'm pretty upset because it's like I have a spoon in me. You know, I don't know what to do. And I'm kind of jumping around a little. And the doctor says, all right. There's no need to cause a big stir. Poor Philip. And a candy spin. Oh, thank you for your generosity, Kit. You're too kind. You're too kind. Oh. I don't like these at all. My coworker loves them, apparently. This is Choward's Violet. Ingredients: sugar, invert sugar. Wouldn't that just... Wouldn't candy and invert sugar just cancel out? Artificial flavors: stearic acid, magnesium stearate, Red 40, all the good stuff. Red 40 Lake, even better. Does the candy wheel bring me joy? It brings me the knowledge that it is bringing the joy to people in chat. I'm no Choward. Oh. It's like lilac perfume and like a hint of lemon? Just because utilitarianism. No, it's justified suffering. Because I'm an entertainer at heart. And it has an aftertaste of a bouquet. Not a bouquet of flavors, just a bouquet. You're a what at heart? Entertainer? Or a person? I don't know. Instigator? Well, I've been accused of worse. Are you gonna screenshot this conversation and share it on Twitter again? No. Uh-huh. Peter would never quote me out of context in my own chat and then post it to his Twitter. Ooh, ominous things are happening. You didn't hear violets in the ingredients? Artificial flavor. That's the best it's gonna be. I didn't make this candy. It's bitter. But like in the bad way. Aw, look at me, little butterfly. No, I'm suffering quite a bit from this one. I'm good. Suffer a little with the next? I'm suffering with this one just fine. And it turns chalky. I don't know what's happening. It's trying to let me have a menu and a cutscene at the same time. Given how that person is repeatedly going bonk, 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 tells me that's a real person. What's my favorite candy on the wheel? Like, favorite bad suffering or favorite I would buy this off camera and enjoy on my own? Oh. Oh, it's like old lady perfume. Something can do attitude. Yep. Oh, you can make an assembly point. That's cool. Yeah, look at all these must be people. Have pine cone. Candy ew attitude. Yeah. A lot of them are that way. I guess to answer your question, Gail, if I'm going to assume you mean favorite, like something I might buy and enjoy, it would probably be the Barnett's Mega Sours because they hurt. Like they are painful, but I enjoy a good sour candy. Oh, make a shared memory. That's cool. It's just... Wait a minute. This is just like Dark Souls. This is just a Souls-like. I can see recordings of other players. I've never played a Dark Souls, but I choose to believe that this is exactly what a Dark Souls is. Get melted, random things. Local grocery store started selling brookies at the bakery. Is that a brownie on top of a cookie or a cookie on top of a brownie? Like, I feel like that difference makes... The order difference changes a lot. I'm guessing a brookie is a brownie cookie combo, and I'm choosing to believe that it's like a layer of chocolate chip cookie with brownie on top. And it would be important to put one on top of the other because that would change how it bakes. It's that, or it's brownies in the shape of a cookie. It looks like a cookie on top of brownie batter, but it's half-baked and very good. That is not how I would have made that. I had to put the cookie on the base. Like, do it in a skillet? I don't think that's how that word works, but anyway. Oh no, I'm cold. And I've lost my energy for some reason. I rolled at nothing. I just have a concern over your use of half-baked. You still haven't been given a job offer yet, Mel? That's ridiculous. Come on. Come on. Come on is not to you. It's to them. I got extinguished. Help me, frozen fisherman. Harry manager's wife to go to labor. Yeah, I mean, that valid. But, like... My character can't decide how to hold the flame there. Level get. Yeah, the other one... The first one, like, there's some room to be like, yeah, okay, but that second one, come on. Just get back to Mel. I like these sky whale moth bird things. They're neat. It's a lot of meeting points planted around here. Dear Lord, you delivered unto me a surprise engine failure for George Russell. I'm so grateful for this. I'd also like to get back for employment. I'm going to... Oh, okay, well... No, I don't want to plant a message. I'm just trying to read what's... Hey, we got scripture. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of the Father who speaks in you. I'm going to take it you don't like George Russell as a racer. Just going out on a limb. You know... Oh no, I think someone's flame just went out. Ouch. What team does he race for? Mercedes? Oh, okay, well. As I don't plan on buying a Mercedes anytime soon. In fact, I don't really plan on buying any of the cars that are associated with F1. But if I were, it would not be Mercedes. Ringy dingy 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 dingy. Oh, I love that great call. Hello, Russ Real Talk. Thank you for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders. How was the Baldur's Gate? Saw you were doing that with Catacombs earlier. Also, Russ, I know who you are, but I don't remember your old channel name, and it's bugging me. Gigs, thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, like I saw your image, and I'm like, oh, he changed his name. What was his old name? I just could not remember. Ah, thank you. I hope the rebrand has been going well. It just started. Oh, sweet. Oh, the Dismayed Hunter. They just made it. My lack of hunting says, ah, there's the other half. Hello, Catacombs. Nat Dark Urge 20 raid. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound like a thing you want to Nat 20 on. But welcome on in. Good to see you, Ross. Good to see you, Catacombs. Good to see you, Brute. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you did good slaying. Conquered the Illithids. Sorry, you're bad. No, you're all good. I just found it funny. I thought maybe you had decided to raid different people. That's entirely valid. It was just funny when it came in later. Oh, that's a facepalm. We're going to the grocery store. Are we getting brookies? Can I have some juice? I like that orange mango banana juice. No, no, no. I want you to no. 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 That's what I want. Thank you. Just a little treat. Man, brookies remind me of a thing called an Igor bar, which came from the Dork Tower comic. It's like layer of Rice Krispies treat, layer of cookie dough, layer of caramel, layer of brownie. There's diabetes in a pan. I promised donuts. You can share. Aw, isn't that nice? No, I want a donut. Only if you go to OCA. Mel, conversion has to be done freely without coercion or incentive. This is sugar for the Lord. Ah, yes. Very unknown psalm. Give sugar unto the catechumens. The Lord's sugar calories don't count. Yeah, they take Sunday off just like everyone else. These make very bubbly noises considering they're in the air. Bubbles are air. Yeah, but like they're not in water. Oh no. Oh wait. Who's that? Okay. Sugar is real food. Yes, but in moderation. I recommend Brussels sprouts, Mel. I'm a fan of Brussels sprouts. So I recommend them. Blanch them and then roast them? Mmm. All foods break down into proteins and sugars. But aren't some of those sugars more complex? Hey, thank you for the cross. You take care. So, job interview, right when stream ended, just got an email saying they canceled because they decided to hire someone else. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brayherd. That honks. Like, they should have still given you the interview. Person have to intend to become Catholic to go through OCA, or is it open to people want to learn more? It kind of depends on the phase, because like they're like OCA as a thing is a collection of prayers and rituals involved in bringing someone into the faith. We use the term interchangeably with like the class portion, which is like the main thing that people know and attend, which is good. In the what would be known as the inquiry stage, you are more than welcome, and there is no obligation. Like just because you are in OCAA, like literally the day before Easter Vigil or day of Easter Vigil, and you're being baptized, you'd be like, never mind, and peace out. Like you have that free will. But there is a kind of an intent of the closer you are to Easter, the more intentional it is sort of around the idea of preparing for the sacraments, and that sort of a term that kind of gets used theologically is purification. So in that sense, maybe that phase wouldn't be for someone who's just looking to learn, but the earlier phase, absolutely yes. Like it's be your third baptism. Well, if you are already baptized, the Catholic Church does not believe in rebaptism. So it would actually, so long as you have been validly baptized in the Trinitarian formula, you are not rebaptized. So you would be considered a candidate, not a catechumen, but still go through a lot of the same process. I guess an difference, for the sake of metaphor, would be the inquiry stage is like a career fair where there's lots of people to talk to about jobs, whereas becoming and preparing for baptism is more like a job interview. It's not a perfect metaphor, but you know what I mean? Like, it's that sense of exploring versus intention. Baptism confirmation, but of course, Rebellious Teen. Yeah, and different traditions handle that differently. But, this is something that Augustine came up against. There were questions of, people who left the church. Even before Augustine, there were people who would, reject the faith because they got scared of being martyred. And in Augustine's time, there's this whole Donatist controversy where they would rebaptize and reordain. But yeah, in the Catholic Church, we believe in one baptism. I mean, it's in the creed. But we believe that you only need to be baptized once, and that it creates an indelible mark on your soul and thus cannot be repeated, because that cannot be taken away. I apparently have new hair. I have not really paid attention. Yes, conditional baptisms are a thing. That is done if, let's say, you grew up in a non-denominational household and church, and you know you were baptized by water, but you're not sure by what words. And so when the church is unsure, we do conditional baptisms where basically we say, you know, we're going to baptize you. If you aren't baptized, this is your baptism. If you are baptized already, this is just us pouring water on you. But it's done usually when there is a founded doubt. Because some churches do baptize, like, we've seen in the Nordic countries, there was a habit for a while of baptizing in the name of the Creator, the Redeemer, and the Sanctifier. And it's like, no, that doesn't count. Not quite right. Some traditions have done baptisms in the name of Christ alone, which, again, it's not the Trinitarian formula. So... Well, yeah. What the difference between baptism and salvation, I guess, is that baptism is the means by which we become united to the body of Christ and are able to seek our salvation through that. We are capable of rejecting that. So just because we have been given the love of Christ does obviously means we're not automatically perfect, but rather called to seek perfection. But we can, by our free will, we can also reject. There's a lot of cheering going on here. I guess they really like their snowboarding. Yeah, I think owning your faith is a good and important thing. It's just, were you to do that in a Catholic context, it likely would not have had free baptism. But again, there's there are different theological perspectives, and this is just the Catholic one. I happen to believe it. I think it's a good theology, but oh, I missed the power up person. Hey, fly back there. I feel like you're not supposed to be able to do this, but I did. We got there. That sounds like a powerful moment of conversion. Hey, Mithril. What are these lights? Well, it's lights I can collect. I have collected all your lights. Now open the door for me. Man, starting with Revelation is an interesting choice. But if it leads to faith, more power to you. Just a guide player through the wing menu to help you find spirits. No, I'm good. I don't think that was the end. Is that the end of the game? No, okay. Lighting all the candles. Getting stuck on the candles. I'm not here to do combat. Oh, you're here to help me. Okay, good. No, no, you're not. No, don't steal my fire. You guys are jerks. I didn't ask for this. They don't even go to this school. Oh, I didn't find any spirits in there. That's interesting. I didn't even notice anywhere where you could kind of turn off the snowboarding path and find some more spirits. It's gotten very quiet. There's no music. Very little sound effects. Now that's a sky whale. With a shrimp tail. Some other players messing around with their cosmetics over there. First glance, you thought this was Last Airbender. I could see that. Could see us also. Golden Wasteland. Beyond the barren wastes, the vault of knowledge awaits. I don't know if I'd ever call a wasteland golden, but... especially with all this green in the air, feels more like copper. Copper wasteland. It's fake gold. Oh, it's, I can't remember what compound is fake gold all of a sudden. Pyrite. Frightened refugee. Oh. That's telling a sad story. No, get out of the sludge. Whoa! Why are there angry crab? Why 4M angry crab? Pyrite is stronger than gold. Yeah, but we have metals that are more abundant than pyrite and stronger still. Ew, gross, ew, gross, gross, ew, gross. Let my health recharge. So I have a feeling I'm supposed to go into these. Nope. That's a dead end. Never mind. I'm going to assume the green is radioactivity. Oh. Oh. That's probably bad news for me then. I don't think this is a lead-lined cape. Be the Hulk! I don't think a game that focuses on the positivity of bringing players together will allow me to become the Hulk. I could be wrong. Oh, I don't like what's happening there in the distance. Oh, I do not like that one bit, chat. No, it's coming towards us. No, no, no. This is... Why is it making predator noises? Like the alien predator. It's not easy being green. I don't think this is what Kermit had in mind. It looks like one of those... Well, you know what? It's quite monstrous in its own right, actually. I'm not even going to bother comparing it to something else. Horse acquired. Haunts? I have haunts? Or did you just acquire a haunts? I feel like you might need a haunts where you live. Palia, Palia. Also valid need for haunts. There's another one of those terrifying things out there. Thanks, game. I hate it. Palia is one of those games I choose not to play, not because I don't want to, but because I think it would take up so much of my time. Oh, well. Oh no, my honk noise is so sad now. Less time. Yeah, well, it's more the cozy portion of the game. No, I needed that flame. Why did you have to put it out? Ow, jerk. looks like there's a way up over there. Oh, this is so dark. There is not a brightness option. You have a third interview. Hey, they finally got back to you. That's great. You loaded into Steam. First thing did was get 37 achievements. I love that experience when a game doesn't have achievements. They get added later. You go back and you're like, just sit there and just the toaster keeps going off. Again, it is silent. What you got for me, door? Oh, no, no, that's okay. No. No. No, I can go back to sleep. I don't mind. It's okay. Timmy can skip school today. It's fine. Okay, we'll activate this elder, and that's probably where we'll call it for the day. I like that the verb they use for taking the souls to the elders is shepherding. It's a small touch, but a nice one. You don't have to fight all the time. Sometimes it's okay to just be kind and gentle. Yeah, not an offer, but things are third round is pretty dang good. By the way, if you want to play this, it is free. It's a pretty good price. Yeah, it's another step forward for Melon. It's a big step forward. That's awesome. There's a lot of people gathered there. We made quite the journey today, and I have missed a lot of spots. That's okay. So, all right. Well, I think that's where we're going to call it for the day. So, thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow for Minecraft, and then Thursday for Super Monkey Island. I want to say Super Monkey Ball and Monkey Island. Anyway, Monkey Island 2. LeChuck's Revenge. Anyway, it'll be fun. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thanks for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna throw you on over to a friend of the channel, Katie Fu, friendly Christian streamer. She is playing Elden Ring, testing out a new graphics card. So raid call is Father Raid. Go give her some love. And again, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.